Good morning, everyone. This is James Marzola with B&D. Welcome to another edition of our Top Line series. Today we're going to be covering what we're calling Clash of the Titans. It's an opportunity to review at a very high level some of the similarities, comparisons, differences between what we think are the top three CRM systems in the marketplace today. Gartner, as we'll talk a little bit about where they feel each one of these organizations sits as well. So as we go through this, I just want to set a little ground rules that we have a short amount of time to cover a lot of information. This is, again, an overview. It is not details. We're not going to go and go deep dive into a lot of specifics. It's designed to give an overview, and as we go through, if you have questions or when the seminar is done, more than happy to schedule additional times with anybody that's interested in more deeper, richer information on all three of these offerings. So with that, let's move forward. So why is CRM important? Why is it still important? You'll notice, based on this graph that is shared with you, that still the desire for higher and better customer satisfaction, always an interest in top-line revenue growth, and the ability to not only acquire but to retain customers. If we're doing positive work with our client base and our lead generation, the goal is to add them to our organization, and so the revenue will increase. So CRM is still extremely important from a business perspective in all organizations. That has not changed over the years. On top of that, a survey was done a little over a year ago, maybe about a year and a half ago, in regard to where do executives see their investments going over the next 5 years. And you'll notice that a great majority of them once again focus on CRM. So that is why you'll start to understand and see that from a CRM perspective, why these three organizations are still doing well, still acquiring companies, still expanding their portfolio. One of the things that I want to be mindful of is the traditional side of CRM over the years has really been built on three pillars: Salesforce automation, marketing automation, as well as customer service, customer support. Some might even call that call center. So today's review is primarily going to be looking at what these three organizations have focused on from a Salesforce automation standpoint, but more from the standpoint of how the UI is laid out, the modifications you can do to the system, as well as what the total cost of ownership might look like based on an average. And we'll talk more about that here in a little bit. So with that, I'd like to start out with a simple poll question for the group. So you'll see a vote come up here on why do you want to, or what do you see that a CRM system is going to provide for your organization. So I just open that up. I'll let the results come through. We'll take 30 seconds, maybe a minute at the most, as we continue to push through our presentation. But what is it that you're looking for out of a CRM system? So we see the votes coming in. Give it another moment here, and we'll tally up the results. So primarily, it looks like most of our audience is looking for all of this. Besides managing the sales process, lead management, all of the elements that are generally known for a CRM system. What is intriguing is also the focus on the single view of customer interactions. So let's carry on and dive right into what we're going to do this morning. So the agenda that was put together is really what's the objective of what we're trying to do here for you? How did we come up with a comparison, some closing thoughts, and if all goes well, we'll have time at the end for some Q&A. So the objective as this is portrayed, as I mentioned, is not a deep dive. It's what it's not is the details in each of the particular areas, but really an overview to give added clarity as you're looking at either selecting a software system, if you don't have one today, or if you're looking to transition. As you'll note, this is information that is public. It's also based on our experiences over the years. And other organizations may have different insights and different opinions. And like all of us, we're allowed to have our own. This is just our view as it stands today. Why do we claim that we have insight into these areas? Well, B&D is a global systems integrator, been around for over 20 years. We have been part of the worldwide Gartner CRM service provider Magic Quadrant since 2009. We focus in various CRM and customer experience management practices. And just to point it out, the ones that are listed based on alphabetical. They're not based on any priority or anything other than that. And industries that we have and continue to focus on. So we have a relative fair amount of information that we gather and believe that we can offer certain insights as you're looking to expand in how you want to achieve your entire customer relationship management strategy. What we're going to do is walk through some views of the user interface, how each of the groups talk about reporting, what's available out of the box, what they consider analysis or dashboard, what's the platform like. There'll be a screen on estimated total cost of ownership over a 3-year period, as well as some strengths and weaknesses that you can take away. On top of that, this session is being recorded, so you've registered, you'll have access to this, and you can pass this on to others in your organization through the Bright Talk channel that B&D has available to you. So let's kick this off. Oracle. You'll notice that they are number one. They claim that they're number one in all of these areas from an industry leadership standpoint as well as a technology leadership perspective. Oracle's Oracle. Large organization, huge organization, monster software company, and CRM and customer experience management happens to be a very strong focus for them. So no denying that from Oracle's perspective, they're number one in everybody's hearts and minds. So with that said, as we look at an opening page of Oracle's, in this case, CRM On Demand user interface, you'll notice it's very clean, and you'll notice that with all of the UIs that we talk about. But from this opening page, it gives you a quick overview of a calendar, messaging. It could have a dashboard built in, but you'll also have the ability to do searches and be able to drill down at the left-hand side, navigation into files, folders. At the top, you have areas of accessing account information, calendars. Once again, the ability to get at the various information. And as we go through and we look now at, let's say, the account screen, you'll notice that the layout is pretty much the same, but as you look at the information on the screen, you see that there's key information that is broken down, and you have the ability to scroll through and on a single scrolling basis get access to a tremendous amount of information on that account, as well as being able to navigate to get to opportunities, to get to activities, to get to history, to get to calendar. and you'll notice that the left side column never changed. So you have the ability to do immediate searches. You can go around and use this as a pivot point to get to other data or other information, even if it's not associated with this particular account or contact. As we start to look at the analytics side or the reporting side, all of the organizations have a way to have a dashboard. And these dashboards are modifiable and can bring forth different types of views. You'll notice here a pie chart. There is a linear graph chart that's associated with it. You can do filtering based on quarters, based on fiscal years, and can navigate through and create your own reservoir of views that is important to you or important to your users. And based on how you want roles set up, this information can be associated with those individuals. As I mentioned, the views that we're showing are primarily built around the Salesforce automation, but if you are using any of these systems for marketing, campaign tracking, or even customer service call center, the same views and the same information presentation is going to be available to you. So as your users get comfortable and confident with interacting with the system, they're going to find they're able to flow very nicely through getting access to the various information. From a reporting perspective, there are canned reports and there are canned dashboards. So we looked at some of the canned dashboards. You'll see on the screen here that there is a tremendous amount of out-of-the-box canned reports. And what that means is these are the static reports. Dashboards are generally updated with information. Reports will pull information from the database and present them, and usually you'll see that either in an exportable fashion in Excel or in a PDF fashion that you can print or email around. So Oracle has done a tremendous job of creating and making available a number of out-of-the-box reports that make it fairly quick to get information into the hands of those that need it, on top of the ability to be able to, as they say, roll your own and create your own reports, both from templates, and be able to move forward with making the system available for effective for your users. The platform that is available to you through Oracle in regard to their on-demand is really depending on which of the versions you end up with. And I say that because if we talk about the CRM on Demand, it's an XML editor. There are specific industry editions that are available where when you select that particular industry-specific edition, you have fields, you have labels that are already attuned to that particular area. Now, as I mentioned, there's a number of different offerings. Siebel is a large organization, was purchased in the space by Oracle. Recently, Eloqua was purchased from a marketing automation perspective. Right now, was focused on and is focused on customer service. PeopleSoft was an acquisition a while back, has their own CRM function. So depending on what your interest is in your offering, that's one of the areas you've just got to be careful of and mindful. So same thing with deployment options. Depending on which item you're looking at from the Oracle environment will determine whether or not you're limited to cloud or you have an option of either cloud or an on-premise basis. When we look at total cost of ownership, and I'll take a moment here that the layout is for all three of the organizations that we're going to be talking about this morning, based on 50 users and based on three different, if you want to call it, software offerings from each one of them. And to make things even, I rounded out a base implementation that's approximately $1,000 per users, translation $50,000. We'll talk more about some things that you want to be mindful at the end of our seminar as it relates to implementation, but this gives you an idea of, from a recurring annual basis, your investment for each one of these particular offerings from the CRM communities. And so from this particular standpoint, standard, enterprise, premium, and there's breakouts in regard to what each one of those are available, and we can work with you or help you get that information if you're interested. The other thing then is what are really the strengths and weaknesses associated with each one of these. In the case of Oracle, as you look at the comparisons with the three that we're going to talk about, it's going to come in a little higher price tag. Cost to implement is probably going to be a little bit more, even though I've rounded it out to make things even. They are not yet in a spot where, like Microsoft and Salesforce we'll talk about, have any kind of an app-like store. And you've got to be careful because of the acquisitions. How's that going to play in really what it is that you're trying to achieve? However, on the strength side, they're part of Gartner's Magic Quadrant leadership, extremely strong functional depth, as we talked about, from an industry-specific offering, different depending on cloud or on-premise, strong integration with the rest of the Oracle suite, similar to from a Microsoft standpoint, and you can't go wrong. They also have a very large partner community in regard to helping implement and get your organization staffed up and trained up in how to best take advantage of the investment that you have going there. So to transition, another poll question. Does your company use a formal sales process? So we'll open that up to the audience, and as soon as take about, again, another 30 seconds, maybe a minute at the most, give you an opportunity to vote, and then we'll show the results and move on to our next organization, and that'd be Salesforce.com. Okay, we'll take another minute here. We've got the voting pretty well taken place. Okay, voting's closed. Let's look at the results. So yes, majority of the viewing audience does have some kind of a formal sales process. A number of you, a third of you don't, and about 10% are uncertain. And why is that important? As we go through and as you're evaluating these CRM systems, you want those that have it, those that don't, and may be interested in incorporating that, be mindful as we go through the presentations on where and how these systems may be able to help you in that area. So let's talk about Salesforce.com. They started in 1999. They, in my opinion, were an organization that the traditional CRM vendors back in the day made fun of. They didn't think that Salesforce.com would survive this cloud model, or at the time, software as a service, and yet Salesforce has revolutionized how cloud or internet or software as a service deployments have really gone forward in this market. Darling in Wall Street, $3 billion in revenue, very well focused on helping others with their foundation and grants, strong awards. You cannot say anything wrong in regard to what they've done in building a successful organization. And as you'll notice, their user interface, not too dissimilar to what Oracle has on the demand in regard to the way that you have your, let's call them tabs along the top, being able to navigate. This is the opening screen, is a dashboard screen or home screen where it too gives you task information, pipeline information. Again, we're looking from a sales standpoint, but instead of being pipeline, it could be marketing data, it could be call center or customer service data as well, calendaring function, so that the individual that's interacting with the system can see all of their information right in front of them from this opening page. As we drill down, what Salesforce has done, again, clean, easy to interpret and see information. You'll notice under account summary, address information, system information, those little arrows that are there, I've collapsed those down. You can expand those out and have all of the information relevant and available, or as I show, you can collapse them down and get more information presented on the real estate of the screen. You have the general information at the top, the type of account it might be. All of this is editable. All of this is tailorable to your organization so that you can make it have a look and a feel that is effective for your users. I've pulled up the opportunity detail, again, that allows from an opportunity standpoint to bring to the surface all of the information that might be necessary for pipeline and forecast and sales management. So you can go in and look at what activities been going on, what new open activities, what the future is looking like. Are there any notes, any attachments, any proposals that are associated with that? Who's involved in this opportunity that we're contacting, that is part of the decision process, let's say. And even from a marketing perspective, what was the campaign influence? What campaign might have brought this opportunity to the forefront so that we can start to track the return on our marketing dollars and investments. So all of that available, again, in a single view for the user on that basis. With the reporting side of Salesforce.com, we're also in a position where they, like Oracle, have a tremendous amount of out-of-the-box reports. And the screen here, we're unable to do live demonstrations for the presentation of the platforms, is one of the largest amount of canned reports that's available. And not only that, you'll notice to the right-hand side a little call-out box that once again allows you to manipulate and get further and other information based on time frames, based on whatever you're interested in from a reporting standpoint. And once again, that can be exported, a new report can be recreated, you have the ability to save those, disseminate those either in an Excel spreadsheet or PDF and in other formats from that basis as well. And then similar to the dashboard functionality. Once again, here this is a snapshot of a sales manager's dashboard, the various ways that you can present the data, the material, the information, all on a single screen. And not only is there sales manager, there's marketing manager, there's customer service manager, there's the individual contributor dashboard. So you have a number of dashboards and even a roll-up dashboard, if you so desire, for all of an aggregate type of reporting that's associated with that. As we look at the platform, in regard to Salesforce, you have the access in a way of drilling down, getting into, and making modifications to the system, and then being able to move that and create that change, if you want to call it, on the fly. There are methods and processes that you want to go through before you publish those changes, but the ability to make changes around labeling, cleaning up the user interface, getting rid of data, which is a lot of what we do for clients, is minimizing and compacting and making the user interface much more fluid and functional for the users that are going to be involved with the system. But you have a great, again, platform to be able to make those adjustments and make those modifications for you. As I mentioned, as we continue forward with the platform, some things to be mindful of. The basis for Salesforce.com being in the cloud is their Force.com platform, Apex, being able to make modifications in there. Nothing is reserved or brought down to the desktop. Everything is done in the cloud, so the customizations that you would want to do is being done through their platform. And if you want to do the customizations, you want to do you're going to learn their methodology on how to make those changes. If you're just making UI changes, very simple, very straightforward, and can be done by general administrators. From an industry edition standpoint, it's not that Salesforce doesn't have any industry-specific editions. They have very limited. And so they're more in industries than have specific industry editions. In other words, the modifications that is probably going to fit your industry is either going to come from the App Exchange or it's going to come from an organization that is going to help you modify it and mold it with your labeling and your nomenclature. They, very strong App Exchange, very strong independent service provider environment where there's a tremendous amount of add-ons that can be done to enhance the Salesforce.com platform that you would be getting. In addition to Salesforce starting out strictly in that where their name has come from, Salesforce Automation, they have expanded out, offering now Service Cloud, a Marketing Cloud. They've recently purchased ExactTarget. They were an innovative organization bringing Chatter to the forefront, which was a Facebook-like interface to monitor information going back and forth in regard to opportunities or account planning or account management. Extremely well done. They've also now brought out Work.com, which is a Salesforce performance management offering. It's a minor added fee that gives ways of increasing involvement with your sales organization and how to better manage that. And of course, you know their slogan: no software, cloud only. You know, in the cloud, software deployment is on premise, not allowed, not done. So from that perspective, let's look at their 3-year total cost of ownership. And again, I've pulled out. There are other offerings that they have on a lower end, but for most of the organizations that are going to find themselves, even with lesser 25 users, they're probably at the minimum going to be at the professional stage, moving on up to enterprise and performance. Once again, we've established the baseline for implementation, so you can see what a 3-year total cost of ownership is going to look like for a Salesforce.com deployment here. If we look at strengths and weaknesses again, be mindful that over time your pricing and cost to implement is probably going to be a little bit higher. And again, when we get to one of the last slides, you'll see the comparison for all 3 of the organizations. If you have an interest in not wanting to have things up in the cloud or software as a service, Salesforce.com is not an option for you because they do not offer any other method. The other thing that you have to be careful with is from a discount. If you think that you're going to try to negotiate, not that simple to do. The other thing that you want to be careful with is your data. Sometimes there's a process on which you need to go through to get your data back if you decide to leave the Salesforce.com platform. And so depending on what level you're at in regard to the addition, there may be an additional fee, not to get the simple data of accounts, contacts, that information, but your calendars, your opportunities, all of your historicals over a 2-3 year period. That's the rich data that you're using a CRM system for. So just be mindful of that if you're going to go in and want to start to look at how you're going to go forward with the system. Plain and simple, they're the industry leader. They are the top. They're the #1 used system from the number of users by far. It's unequivocal. Everybody knows them. They have tremendous brand recognition, in regard to how they have penetrated businesses and done extremely well in that area. Very clean, easy to use UI. This is my opinion. They really started writing the book on that app concept or app exchange in building that environment for their customer base, and have done extremely well in doing that and continuing to expand on that, I might add. So we're going to jump in another poll question here. What is the average sales cycle for your business? So let's open that up to the audience, and we'll take another a few seconds here to let everybody vote on that. Either less than 3 months, 4 to 10 months, greater than 10 months, uncertain. So we'll take another moment here, and then we'll stop the voting, and then we'll present the results and move on to finish out with Microsoft, and then some closing remarks. All right, we've got a little bit more votings coming in. All right, so we're going to close it off here. Okay, let's view the results. So it looks like predominantly the group is between a 4 to 10 month sales cycle, which is great. So a majority of you that are out there really do know what your sales cycle is, and from a sales perspective, as you're looking at improving your business, it's absolutely imperative to know what that sales cycle is, to build cases around both marketing, customer service, and Salesforce effectiveness. So let's talk about Microsoft. They've been around since 1975. Everybody knows Microsoft's story. Very large, profitable, $77 billion in revenue, very large cash war chest, if you want to look at it, net income of $22 billion. And they, too, has promoted a tremendous amount of giving over the years. And Microsoft touches just about every major area that we're all used to, from Xbox to desktop, now cloud, communication, developer tools. So Microsoft has, over the years, worked their way into just about every platform. And so in regard to their user interface, we're showing now the Dynamics CRM 2013 view. They had a most recent upgrade and changed the layout in the view in October of this past year. And so we're showing that new user interface. So their opening page, as you come, you'll see that you too get a dashboard like that. In this case is sales, but it can be marketing, campaign management, customer service, or sales. You'll see that below is activity management, what tasks, what phone calls, what emails, what is it that as an individual contributor you're doing when you come to that opening screen. The other thing that you'll notice on here is with Dynamics CRM, you'll see that yellow bar across there. If you're using Outlook, you have the ability to interact with the Dynamics CRM system through Outlook. Both Oracle and Salesforce.com have an integration that synchronizes data back and forth with Outlook. However, because Microsoft wrote both programs, they have a tremendous way of bringing that interface together. And if you're, from a usability standpoint, if you're using Outlook, that's something that you probably want to take a look at on how it interacts. I have not, in these screen slides, show that Outlook interface, and I did that for a reason, so that you can get a feel for the web browser version of Oracle, Salesforce.com, and Microsoft. So if you're expecting to see that, we can talk about that at a later date or work something out. But again, I'm just showing you the browser layout for each of these systems. So what Microsoft did is basically a cascading way where the very top screen allows you to see, okay, if I'm in Dynamics CRM, which of the particular areas do I want to go? Sales, service, marketing. If I go the next one down and I pick sales, then all of a sudden it opens up my activities. Do I want to go to accounts, contact, opportunities? And then you also have the ability to look at dashboards and information and continue to scroll through the UI. So that's the reason for how I've shown this layout here. And all of that can be adjusted and modified, once again, for the flow for your organization. As we also look at their UI, the couple things that they seem to do well at is every one of the groups has a list way of giving you information back, similar like you might see in an Excel spreadsheet. With Microsoft, they have at the far right an inline dashboard, so you can quickly see information in a graphical representation as well as in a list view representation. You'll see that there's call-out areas where you can quickly filter data, search for data, or go into ways of exporting that information. So they have done a very good job at, as you get to understand the way the UI is laid out, the powerful way of getting to and the simple way of getting around and navigating to get to the information that you want. So as we look at this screen, this is their account view screen. They have adopted a similar approach to what Salesforce.com pioneered with Chatter. You'll notice in the center is a board, a call-out information where you can see what people are sharing from a collaboration, let's say, on this particular account. On the left side, traditional account information. On the right side, other information about that account. Once again, just like the other organizations, you can manipulate and move the layout of these screens so that they fit your organization, as well as you'll notice here by being in the account screen, you can go directly to documents, opportunities, cases, as well as activities right from the screen. So with all three of the UIs, the ability to get around and navigate the information. From a sales operation, opportunity management standpoint, the screen on the bottom, what Microsoft has done with this release has really allowed your organization, both in sales, marketing, lead management, to focus on processes. And so you can have not only the opportunity information that you would have, but you also have the ability to build in a quick visual of information based on your sales process. So for those of you that are using one, those of you that are not, those of you that don't know or looking to maybe modify, this is something that you may want to take a look at on how you can quickly put it in. The call out on the right-hand side just gives a pop-out of not only what is out of the box, but what you can do to modify and change and enhance and edit for your business. If we look at reporting, again, I would say that from an out-of-the-box CAN reporting standpoint, Microsoft is not necessarily the leader in the number of CAN reports. Could be good, could be bad. It's like beauty. It's in the eye of the beholder, because once you have a report, you can copy it, you can modify it, you can adjust it, and make changes. One of the things, again, that I like is the fact that when you're in these particular list views is the ability to filter, to quickly find the reports that are not only CAN, but let's say the specific reports that might have been created by you, by your team, for individual consumption. And very fast way to navigate to get to that information. Dashboards, again, looks fairly similar to what is there with the other organizations. This is a sales activity. There's sales management, marketing, customer service, pie charts, cone shapes, linear bar graphs. There's other ways that you can present the information, and in the case here, being able to drill down and get to the backstory of information of what's available in each one of these particular dashboards. If we look at their platform, similar to Salesforce.com, you have the ability to make modifications. In this case, I am showing the opportunity form. This is the same layout structure in making modifications to activities, to making accounts, to making contacts, and it's a drop and drag visual interface. And so you can add or take away just by dragging and dropping the particular fields, rearranging them, and you can also take a look at what it's going to look like to the user before you publish it, so that you can make good arrangements in regard to the UI and how the information might flow. From the platform standpoint, because it's built by Microsoft, it's built on the .NET platform, so if you have people that understand .NET programming, there are some subtleties associated with the structure on how Dynamics CRM is put together, but you can start to use them to make adjustments, modifications from a customization standpoint. There's a lot of capabilities, again, with all three of these platforms to make modifications to the UI and adjust it, but if you truly want to customize it, you're going to need to understand some programming methodologies associated with it. Microsoft has no true industry editions. Everything that might be adjusted and modifiable specific for, say, financial services is going to come through an industry software vendor, and or from some organization that you might hire to mold it specifically in that way. There is a Dynamics Microsoft marketplace, and so there are a tremendous amount of, if you want to call it, apps, and the way that Microsoft has structured their environment, you can actually bring these solution sets in and try them out with inside the Dynamics CRM platform before actually purchasing them. Up until, I think it was last year, maybe 18 months ago, everything that Microsoft did in the CRM environment was all their own. As I mentioned, about 18 months ago, they did their first acquisition, aligning in regard to marketing. They bought a company out of Illinois called Marketing Pilot. It's a marketing resource management platform, and now has some integration with inside the CRM platform. And then they've been promoting for the last 18, 24 months a tremendous amount of connection with Office 365. Microsoft, because they started on-premise, have still an on-premise model. They also have a partner private cloud capable system. So if you are interested in that, that's an option, as well as going directly to Microsoft and having it hosted in the Microsoft cloud through their Dynamics CRM Online platform. You'll notice as we look at the 3-year total cost of ownership, Microsoft, what I did here, they actually have 3 versions in their cloud-based. I chose 2 because those are the most common used, and then because they have an on-premise model, I showed that as well. And the implementation fee for the first year, you'll notice that with the on-premise, if you do decide that you want to purchase the software, it will come with a 3-year software assurance, so you don't have to pay any annual dues or fees for updates or adjustments. It's built in. Your renewal comes in year 4, and that's 20%, approximately 20% of the software license. And you'll see the total cost of ownership for what Microsoft has available for you in their offering. Some of the pluses and minuses for Dynamics CRM, very poor brand recognition. Again, my opinion that Microsoft, there is really still a miscommunication on how and does Microsoft have a CRM platform, a CRM product. I was with an organization last week, about a $100 million company, their chief technology officer, when we were talking about different CRM platforms, and I mentioned Microsoft, he was shocked because he didn't even know that Microsoft has a CRM product. So that's been going on for years now, even though this product has been out since 2000, 2001. Industry options, again, you're going to either have to go to an ISV or custom dev something. They're only most recently now coming out with their cross-browser, really good functionality. Primarily before it was in the area of just Internet Explorer. With the release of 2011 and now 2013, truly interaction with Chrome and Mozilla Firefox. Mobility, if it's a requirement, they do offer it native, but the true functionality is going to come through a third-party ISV. Microsoft's, again, all 3 of these are the Gartner CRM leader. A strength that a lot of people see is the Outlook UI, as well as I showed you, that Flow UI. Their pricing and total cost of ownership is probably by far the best, especially from modifications. And if you're doing a lot of work with Microsoft, the integration with SharePoint, Exchange, Link, Communicators on that basis is there. They offer the 3 models of deployment, and it really can lend itself very well as a development platform for your organization. We're going to close out with one more poll opportunity here, and then some closing comments, and see what time we have left over for question and answers. So, what do you think is the most common reason for a failed CRM implementation? So we'll open that up for the next few moments here, and get our votes in, and then we'll share those votes with the audience. So we'll take another moment here. Every vote counts, and this information will be captured and made available again at the end of the presentation through the Bright Talk channel. So besides hearing it now, you can fast forward, you can go to specific areas, look at specific information, you can forward this on for others. So we're going to stop the voting here, take a last moment to vote, and then we'll start we'll view the results then. All right, so 33% as well as 31% at the top show a lack of executive involvement or limited user adoption for the reason for failure. Close behind is the integration with other business systems. So what that tells me is the integration concept is how do we create a repository for the right information for our users. And I think that's a very good observation in understanding the way that possibly CRM systems have been sold in the past by giving you this nirvana of a 360-degree view of the customer. So let's talk about the big three. A little bit of a summary here in regard to what you're looking at. Now, as I mentioned before, all Gartner leaders, you're not going to go wrong in regard to their ability to deliver. 3-year total cost of ownership is something that you want to be mindful of. What I've done here is you'll notice that from the presentation, the enterprise for Oracle, Salesforce, and the professional version are all the middle of the road. In the case of Microsoft, it's actually the top of the line of their offering, but it's the middle of the road offering for Oracle and Salesforce. And so you'll notice that with the minor amount that was allocated for implementation, you can quickly see the differences dollars-wise that you're investing. Cloud deployment, on-premise, industry-specific layouts, certified partner network. I think that's important for you to realize that as you're looking at deploying these, that each one of the organizations have partners that go through a process to understand how to modify it, how to implement it, how to customize it, and how to support you in your offering. The free trial is an intriguing one here, and I just want to point that out. Again, personal observation, because I went prior to doing this to register and sign up for a free trial with Oracle On Demand, Salesforce, and Microsoft. And I'm going to share my opinion and my results. Oracle, when you go to their site, they require you to put in your cell phone number so that you can get back a code that you then plug in and get access to their platform. I attempted 3 different times using 2 different browsers, both Internet Explorer and Mozilla, and all 3 of those times, I never once got the code back on my cell phone to be able to get it up and running. So just sharing that straight out. Salesforce, simple, fast, easy, no codes, no nothing, immediately getting access to their platform and being able to quickly get in and start doing any kind of adjustments, modifications, and the like. Microsoft CRM, like Oracle, they have you go through a process to get a code, got the code, was able to do that, and immediately got access to their environment. However, the caveat there is you're brought into the Office 365 environment, and it can be a little bit confusing to be able to determine where and how you can see or get access to the CRM portion of the Office 365 environment. Can be done, might be a little frustrating, but it is there. Once I got in, again, very simple, very easy to navigate and get around. So just be mindful of that. So I'm going to close out here with some closing thoughts, and then we've got some questions, and we'll wrap up right before the hour here. My personal opinion, CRM is not a software. CRM is a business strategy. Every business is doing some sort of customer relationship management now, whether they're using Outlook, they're using Excel, they're using databases, they're using ACT, they're using Goldmine, whatever. The point is how you answer your phones, how you send out your billing, how you handle your marketing, your website, your sales process. All of that is how you are handling and doing customer relationship management. Unfortunately, what has happened is software companies have seen the need for businesses to try to automate and have tried to mold us into our thinking that if we buy this piece of software, it's going to solve all our problems. And if you reflect back on the poll that we did on failed CRM implementations, integration, also about executive involvement, and user adoption. Rarely did anybody mention the software itself. As you're going through your process, my recommendation is focus on at least what area is most important to you right now. Force automation, is it marketing automation, return on investment, lead management, is it call center, customer service, whatever that is, then start to build your metrics around what your gaps are and what you need to justify to create your business case. I'm also a very strong proponent on investing in a CRM diagnostic. You notice that even at the lowest end with Microsoft, $175,000, maybe $200,000 investment over 3 years for 50 users. That's a sizable amount of money. To invest, a few $1,000s to bring an organization in, to do a roadmap, to determine what your requirements are, your needs are. The software itself is the software, but you need to understand what it's going to take to fit it with inside your business. Remember, you are the ones that shared with me user adoption. So how do we bring that in from a business case standpoint, ensure that we're doing the right training, we're having the right UI flow, and we've got the right executive involvement. Then you want to start interviewing partners for deployment, how you want to do that, and I would suggest get out there and try the software. Go through like I did. Download all 3 of them and get a trial going and just kick the tires on that as you continue to roll forward with your system. So in closing, information available from all 3 of the websites. You can go to our website, as well as Gartner has a tremendous amount of information. So I'm going to look at what questions and we have. So I'm going to, some good questions here. So the first one, how do the 3 differ with respect to mobile functionality? Excellent question. In regard to that, I would stack rank them. I think Salesforce is probably the leader in that regard, in regard to how their information has been parsed and made available to run in the Android as well as the iPhone environment. Microsoft, of course, very strong in their platform, but across the board, if you want that functionality, you really need to look at a third-party offering there. Do you have TCO details on Siebel and perhaps Siebel versus Oracle? I do, but I don't have it readily available and can make that available. So if you ask that question, please email us and we can get you that information. Can you please tell us how we can get a copy of this presentation? If you're part of the Bright Talk, you registered for this, the entire will be available there. If you don't want the audio interpretation, you don't like my voice and how I'm presenting it, send us an email. I'll be more than happy to provide this out to you. Let's see. Question, do you feel that any of the 3 products you are reviewing has an advantage with respect to mobile capabilities? As I mentioned earlier, from a smartphone standpoint, Salesforce has probably got the lead in that regard. Now with the tablet explosion, it depends on what you mean by tablet. If you're looking truly from an Apple iPad, the platforms that are more aligned with that, Salesforce, Microsoft is catching up because of what they're doing with Windows 8. They have tremendous amount of synergy that's associated with that. The key there is not from a platform standpoint, my opinion, it's what's your mobile strategy. How do you want to use the tablet? How do you want to use the cell phone as an overall strategy for your business, and think about the mobile side of the strategy, because no matter what, these systems can be made to work in a mobile environment. The better question I would be working with you on is, what is it that you're trying to accomplish with that mobile strategy or with that mobile deployment? Let's see, we've got another minute here. I've only got time for another question, so let me just answer one more. What do we have here? Okay. Let's see. Oh, the question is, I'll just leave with this one because I think this cuts across the top. Have you heard of companies leaving one CRM system for another, and why? For example, leaving Salesforce.com and moving to Microsoft. Yeah, the answer is yes, absolutely. And I can give you several reasons why, and we'll close with this one. Several reasons why on that basis is as you mentioned, as we talked about. What is your definition of a failed CRM implementation? People aren't using it, right? We spent this money, we invested the dollars, and it's not being used. So something must be wrong with the software. And so a new sales VP comes in, a new marketing officer comes in, somebody new takes over the call center, and it has to be the software. And so I used this other software at my previous company, and I went with that. Or from that perspective, you're also in a spot where it could be monetarily, in the sense that you look at the amount of money that's being spent on servers, and so somebody may say, hey, you know what's going to be less expensive to us if we put it up in the cloud. So there's some concepts around, hey, a cloud deployment is going to be less expensive for me than if I host it internally, is another reason. And it could be going from, hey, we're using Outlook, so you know what, we're having challenges with how Outlook is interacting with this other system. Let's take a look and let's go with this platform that Microsoft has, because they claim that we can interact directly with Outlook. Could be software volume pricing is another one that I've seen, where we already have a relationship with Oracle, and wow, Oracle's giving us the CRM software as part of it. Now all we got to do is figure out how to implement it, and that's where the cost of the implementation comes in. So apologize, we've got a lot of great questions here. What we'll work to do is, if you have any additional questions, please email them in to us at B&D, and we'll get those questions answered and send that out. So thank you for your attention, your investment, and look forward to seeing how we can be of better service for you as we continue to do our top line programs. Thank you.